So this is kind of crazy. Somebody said that Shake Shack charged them more for their order if they declined tipping.
Yeah, I saw the video, and they showed it on it was a kiosk, and they showed it on the kiosk that when they put the order in, it said about having a tip, and when it said no, it like raised everything like 50 cents.
Add tip. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at this here. Add tip. Select the amount of tip you'd like to add your order. Calculating total. So they didn't add a tip. So no tip.
No, it says calculate, and then it says uh-oh. And then
it says cheap bastard.
And then it turns around and then raises the price by 50 cents on each tray.
Raises the price like 50 cents.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about just tipping culture in general, that it's really gotten ridiculous. And I am wondering if companies now, again, to get maximum profit, because they do take a percentage of the tips, right? I am wondering if they aren't pushing it to pad their own bottom lines. It has nothing to do with their workers getting paid more. You know, it does in some regard because they don't want to raise the wages, but I think it's more about these companies just saying, oh, look, our revenue was like skyrocketing because we forced everybody to give us an extra 15%, 20%, whatever. It's so bad that like the one movie theater we go to, they actually added a tipping option if you buy tickets. Like, why am I going to, like, I'm not trying to be a dick, and I like the people that work at that theater quite a bit, but why am I going to give you an extra 20% on top of the already outrageously overpriced tickets and popcorn? You know what I'm saying? Like, just because, you know, I'm nice. And I noticed lately, I think they got called out for it, because I noticed lately they're telling you just to cancel it out. It's on the kiosk though. Like, hey, you want to add a 20% tip? It's like, no, you just gave me tickets. Or it's, I ordered my tickets online, I came in to redeem my code, and then you want another 20%.
Well, it's not them. It's the
corporation that owns it.
Yeah, they use it. And in this case, that's what the corporation's saying, is that they were called out for it, and they said that it must have been the individual location. So they're going to get in touch with the franchisee, because I don't think they're supposed to be doing this.
Well, Indiegogo was doing it right before they got sold. They were putting a tipping option. People thought they were tipping the content creators. They weren't. They were tipping Indiegogo. So
they didn't clarify that either.
No, they're just like, would you like a tip for the hardworking creators? Oh, asterisk.
Well, they didn't say creators.
Well, it was like, you know, our team, our hardworking team, and you're thinking, oh, it's for the people who are putting this project together. No, it was for the people working at Indiegogo to get extra money on top of their fees, on top of everything else. And then, shocker, and that was after they were withholding payments and stuff. Shocker, they got sold not too long ago. So to me, it just reads like they're hard up for money, and they're trying to get extra money out of people, because people feel obligated to tip. You feel
because that's like a U.S. thing. Other countries don't do it. You know, or restaurants could just, you know, pay their people fairly.
They could do that, yeah. But they'd rather just pass the buck. Again, maximum profit. Most of these restaurants now are owned by private equity companies, and they're just trying to get as much money out of these brands as they possibly can. I don't know if Shake Shack is or not, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was just in the DNA of their business plan. I was like, oh yeah, just, you know, kind of guilt people into tipping, because then we can get an extra 15% a year.
That's how it is for any of these restaurants. And with they people saw them, I'm sure, on social media, where they were circulating about how to figure out the tip. It was like 30%. And if you can't afford that, you shouldn't go out to eat and everything else. Like, well, 30% is ridiculously high. Usually they expect 15 to 20%. But they were like 30%. You can't afford to go out to eat and stuff. I was like, well, then, yeah, people aren't going to go out to eat. And maybe the restaurants should pay their people better, so they don't expect 30% tips to cover their employees being paid.
So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
If you'd like another woohoo, go out to Kickstarter, check out Geeky Sparkles Retro Halloween Revenge. These are pins that she designed last year, but we do have a new neon pin this year. We're doing another run of these because they were incredibly popular.
People kept asking for more. Yeah.
People kept asking all year for these. Do you have any more Halloween pins? Do you have any more Halloween pins? Well,
and we didn't. So that's why we have to do another run.
So we're doing another run. And if you missed out on these, if you missed out on the Halloween mask pins, which are also going to be shipping at the same time, they glow in the dark as well. You can pick all this stuff up out on Kickstarter. Check it out. Thank you for the support. I don't think you can tip over there. That's okay. We wouldn't ask you to.
We didn't ask you. We wouldn't ask you to anyway.
Anyway, this is coming from AOL. Oh my God, that's still a thing. Maybe if they tipped AOL, they'd be bigger. Do not go there. Shake Shack customer goes viral after he tapped no tip at self-order kiosk and his total jumped $1.50. So they basically took the tip out of your hide there, dude. A viral TikTok video about Shake Shack is sparking debate over tipping culture. A customer showed the price of his order after he visited Shake Shack at an airport. Oh, there's part of your problem, in which his order appeared to increase when he selected no tip. In the video, which began circulating online over the weekend, the man and his wife placed an order for three $5.99 classic shakes. When they reached the payment screen, they're prompted to leave a tip. And he says no, and then they jacked it up to, what was it, like $6.29 or
it was 50 cents each, so $1.50 more. Which, I mean, honestly, isn't even 10% tip. So
yeah, the video, but still, they raised the price on him, which is weird.
And they were, and because he was filming it, so if they wasn't filming it, then they could be like, oh, you just imagined it, but he had it on film.
Making sure everybody knows, do not go there. The TikToker BD Pal warns, suggesting that customers who decline gratuity will be charged more for the same order. The video does not prove that selecting no tip actually caused a price increase, and Shake Shack has denied it.
But you can see the price change in real time in the video.
Yeah. Nonetheless, the video quickly spread across social media, with some viewers describing the practice as a no tip surcharge and others arguing that tipping culture has gotten out of hand.
It has.
So this is what they said. We'll talk about what Shake Shack said, but we're going to talk just broadly about how burnt out people are from tipping culture. It's insane. It's everything now. It used to be, it was restaurants or higher end, hotels or something like that. Yeah, it was understood, but everything now, every damn thing you do, everything you buy, they're asking for a tip. And I think it's all about padding their bottom line. So here's the actual video on TikTok. And here's Shake Shack. They said, thank you for bringing this to our attention. 4.2 million views.
Yeah, at that point, it's gone up a lot more since then. That was just on TikTok, not the other social media shares.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention. This is not a Shake Shack policy, and we're currently looking into it with our licensee. Okay, so it could be a licensee, HMS Host, that operates the Salt Lake City airport location and kiosk system. Some viewers suggest it could be a bug in the system. Others believe the order was timed to be made when prices change at Shake Shack rather than it being a tipping issue. Well, that in and of itself.
So they do demand pricing?
Yeah,
is that what they're saying?
The surge pricing, which is bullshit. Surge pricing is bullshit. They're doing it now. We actually have a friend of ours who works at Walmart, and we speculated, and people thought we were full of it. We speculated the reason they're changing everything to the digital price stickers on the shelves is so they could very simply change the price on people, and then they'll just kind of tie all that into your phone or whatever and sort of stalk you and raise or lower the price depending on who you are, how much they think you can afford, what the likelihood is of you buying something, kind of like any kind of like hotel booking site or whatever. And he said that's true. He said he was actually told by his manager that is something they're working on a system now that will have surge pricing at Walmart. And I'm waiting for tips at Walmart. That's coming, right? They're going to do tips at Walmart.
But I know they do it for other places, like you said, movie theaters and other things that aren't restaurants. They want to know if you want a tip. And it's like, some of them I'm like, why would I tip here? That doesn't even make sense.
So they said, 78% of American consumers are experiencing tipping fatigue, up from 65% in 2025, 60% in 2024, and 53% in 2023. Yeah, I think at first people were like, oh yeah, we'd like to help people out, and everybody's having a rough time of it because of the pandemic and it helps businesses or whatever. And then once they realized that they could make some easy money off of people's guilt and feeling of obligation, then they just started rolling it out across the board. Every place you go, like seriously, you just put like a little something in a bag and you want another $5, like, what?
I mean, it's not the employees who are asking it. It's the company.
People said it has become ridiculous. 44% actually report tipping less this year than last year, seemingly out of spite. 42%.
Well, that's kind of crap for people that, it's not the wait staff's fault.
No. And in some cases, like I worked as a waiter when I was a teenager, and it was at Chi-Chi's, and they went out of business because everybody got poisoned or something. I forget what happened. But they only paid you like $2 or $3 an hour back then, and everything else you made came from tips. So,
there was a place by where I lived and my friend's sister worked there, that they got in big trouble because they had a jar for tips, and what would happen is the owner would take a whole bunch of the money. And then it was like a mom and pop shop.
I
and
believe
then,
it. Yeah.
Then they would hardly give any of the tips to the staff, but their kids worked in the back and they gave their kids the money too. And then the waiters and waitresses and those stuff that was for didn't get the money because they were taking it. And they got in trouble. They got in big trouble.
Oh, I can believe it. I can totally believe it. 42% of consumers say they're becoming more comfortable skipping gratuities for certain services, although 59% still feel compelled to leave a tip when prompted. That's it. They know you're going to do it because you don't want to look like an asshole. And especially when they sit there and look at you, like they watch to see what you hit on the screen. Like, is this guy going to, or they're afraid they're going to like spit in the food or something.
Yeah, well, it's just happened.
Which has happened. Yeah. You have a story about that too. That's the whole thing. They said, where did the self-service tips go? Okay. If customers are tipping kiosks, who's on the receiving end? Well,
That's a good question.
Yeah. So while the money is intended for on-duty staff, pooled and split among workers, oversight can be questionable if the money isn't going directly to them. While covered non-exempt workers, including many fast food employees, are entitled to federal minimum wage at $7.25 an hour, anyone whose income comes largely from tips alone is bearing the biggest brunt of tipping fatigue, and they're losing more if those already declining tips don't even end up in their pockets. It said
I always pay cash and tips if I can because I always hand it to them, because if you do cards and stuff, I don't know if the company's going to take it.
Now, this is interesting, though. Shake Shack, the chain's founder, Danny Meyer, in 2023 said that people shouldn't feel pressured to tip for basic transactions. He said customers picking up food or buying coffee had no obligation to tip. If you're just taking out food and it was just a transaction, I give you money and you give me a cup of coffee, I don't think there's any obligation to tip whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, I've gone into bakeries, I've gone into pizza places or whatever, and it's just like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm like, I'm picking it up. You're not delivering it. You're getting paid to make it. I don't understand why I have to tip if, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm actually sitting down and you're serving me, then yes. But if I'm actually driving my own gas to go over and pick the thing up and it's just sitting on the counter and I go take it, why do I have to give you another $5?
I think when it comes to like really customized type things, like they have like coffee shops and things like that will make it in front of you, like really custom type stuff. I think that would be more so. Even like Subway or something, I think it would be more inclined because they're actually customizing it to you as you sit there. But a lot of these places want tips and there's no reason to give them a tip.
Yeah, I very seldom got tips or asked for tips. We did caricatures at festivals for a long time.
We never asked, but I
never asked for tips. I mean, some people would give me a tip and I always felt awkward because I'm like, well, if I wanted more money, I would charge you more money for the drawing.
But they're just being nice. So.
They're being nice, which is cool. But I think that's the thing too. A lot of people, I think they undercharge thinking they're going to make it up in tips, especially artists. They're like, oh, this is like, pay what you want or whatever. And then they get mad when people are like, yeah, it's worth that buck. I'll give you like $1 for that or whatever. It's like, charge what you want and just assume there's not going to be a tip on top of it.
But unfortunately, the way the culture is in the United States, wait staff, they don't have a choice. A lot of times they get paid way under. So if you're going to be mad about tipping, don't take it out on them because they aren't paid much to begin with and they mostly make up their money from tips from you. So tipping culture is out of hand, but just pay what you're, pay the 15%, 20% usually pay. Don't pay more, but understand that that's how they're getting paid.
I love these responses. This is on Reddit. I'd lose my shit. Why would a digital kiosk need to adjust the price after the fact? This has to be illegal. It would be in Canada. This person says, but the digital kiosk doesn't make minimum wage. How else is it supposed to feed its children? So, anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
There we go, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.